Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Chris, and I have been busy with Christmas. And I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing. Just saying I haven't had much time in the shop this week. Time with family and just enjoying myself. And so I thought I'd share a little bit of my Christmas haul. And of course, the fluorescent light is deciding to give up the ghost. But okay, so I put things on my list, and it's kind of another plug for the Floyd County Museum, which is fine by me. They have some great resources for us Oliver and White collectors and Minneapolis Moline. Oh, Ross the Oliver man had said he'd gotten all these DVDs that they had. They had bunches of old films, promotional films, just test films, stuff like that, that they got transferred to digital so they could hopefully, entertain us and make a few bucks for the museum while they're at it, help pay the bills. I know they've been working on a new roof. I think they got that accomplished, the funding, but there's probably other projects they need too. So I gave the list. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's somewhere around 16 or 17 of them. Math hard. Chris, no count. But just all sorts of neat stuff. Been liking this one, late 60s, early 70s tractor bundle. There, I have determined after looking it over and over, I haven't watched them all yet, so there's lots to discover yet. The 2155, a tractor that Oliver built Oliver, that was going to be made and did not get put into production. There's footage of it on this one. Plow bundle, some cool stuff in there. Have not watched all of that yet. Stuff all the way back into the fleet lines. The 50 series bundle. I've spent a lot of time on this one. There is footage of, let's see, well, I'll throw a little in here while I'm talking, of a 1950 Terra tire, 4-wheel drive, pulling a flex back plow like I've got. A tractor like Herman and a plow like I've got. This one in the video is a four bottoms on the front, 4 bottoms on the rear for a total of 8. Mine is a 5 on the front, and I've put 3 on the back, so still 8, just flexes in a slightly different spot. I think those plows are just cool. And so you've probably seen that. They must have done a photo shoot at the same time, because like the 1950 literature has this image, shot of it on the cover, other pictures of it circulating around the internet. This is actual video of it. I'm not going to put the whole thing in because you need to buy it in order to enjoy it and help the museum out. And then the other thing I found was some footage of a 1650 Terra tire. I'll throw a little clip of that in. We'll talk. We'll go see my 1650 just to talk about it. I did a lot of research on this tractor. Went to the museum and dug through build cars, and could only find one factory-equipped Terra tire 1650. Of course, these DVDs from the museum are showing me otherwise. Although I've also said right along that I could have missed one. And so I either missed one, which is very likely, or they pulled a regular one off to do this demonstration to the Department of the Interior. And so it wouldn't show up in the build card. It could show up as experimental. It could have been the very first Terra tired 1650. But one way or another, there was another one out there. It was diesel. This one's gas. So who knows? Maybe they'll find more once those build cards get all scanned in and a good database can be made that can be read. They've got a list on their website, floydcountymuseum.org. I need to watch this one yet. My grandpa could be in this one. Foreign films. That's got some cockshuts, some Fiats. Just miscellaneous. We'll see quite a few of them don't have sound. Quite a few of them, the sound is not the best on them, and it's just, they're old films. That's all there is to it. You gotta, I guess, be glad we got what we can get. But some of them are just silent because they are actually just stock footage that they were filming to make the promotional movies or films later on. And so you'll recognize some of the footage when you sit down and watch them all, that, hey, I saw this in this video. Well, that one didn't have sound. They got a clapboard and everything. They're producing these things to make a quality product. but they still had some of those original films plus the later finished product films. So somewhat duplicated, but not really. Balers, just about everything, even up into the white era. So I just can't recommend those enough. Prices vary depending on how much is on each disc. I think the most expensive one's $25. I think the cheapest one's $15. There's some 20s. Where'd that white one go? There it is. Look at that baby. So enough about those. The other thing I got, that I put on my list, I don't have all the build cards for my tractor collection yet, and been slowly doling them out to family to get me for Christmas over the years. I kind of know the story on them, but it's also neat to verify the story on some of them, and some of them that I don't know the story on, to learn a little more of their background. Now there's a Super 55. So what I thought I would do is go walk around and kind of show these build cards as I walk by each tractor that it's for, and give a little bit of story on it. But once again, you can get these. You either need your tractor serial number, and if you, for some reason or other, your serial plate is missing, you can give them the engine serial number. And as long as the engine hasn't been swapped, they should be able to reverse it out. There's no guarantees, but I know they will give it the college try, because they send you a nice certificate with your name on it, you know, showing what model it was, what serial number, all that stuff that's on the build card. So it's easy to read, frameable if you so desire. They also send, they send a copy of, depending on the model, which build codes, but generally if they have them, they'll send you this, the dealer price sheet. This is what the dealers ordered them with, and a lot of the codes that we've figured out are from these price sheets. They say like deduct Z9 here. That's, you're deducting the battery if you ordered a tractor with no battery, which you could do back then. Let's see, like K4 is a 1616 4-ply front tire. So, you know, just stuff like that. You start going through these, but thanks to Dwayne Starr, he has, on a lot of the models, put together these easy cheat sheets. You'll find some codes aren't listed, and that's just because we don't know them all yet. Short of that, you know, they go out, they print this out, they highlight the ones that are on your card, so it's quick, easy read. Just tells you how your tractor was built, what tires, what transmission, lights. It told the guys as it would come down the line how to build this tractor. And so if you want to restore it to original, or just see how it originally was, where it originally was shipped to, that's the way to do it. Give them a call. Okay, yeah, you can give Floyd County Museum a call. Area code 641-228-1099. They are in Iowa, so that's Central Time. They are not open every single day. So they are a museum. So go to that website if you want more details on when to call and when not to call. If no one's there, you can leave a message, or I don't know. You'll try back later. Like I said, it's a museum. Let's go look at these tractors with these build cards. The 1600 diesel. Originally shipped to Conroy, Iowa. Let's see, that would have been out of the Omaha branch. And now the certificate's in here that shows all that stuff. So anyways, I don't know much of any history on this. I know Dad picked it up, I think, at an auction. Beyond that, just don't know. It was originally a narrow front tractor, which this build card would show. It was originally diesel, but this is not the original engine, because 1600s had a full flow oil filter that was up in here. This is the bypass filter like would be on your Super 88, 880, the 100, 125 ASA. So that is a earlier block. I think I determined that was a K100E block, which was used up through the Super 88 and I think maybe the early 880s. Still, good runner. Just kind of interesting to know where the heck it came from. I think someone commented one time that their family had the dealer in Conroy, Iowa, and if you did, well, if you could comment down below, that'd be great. Let's see, it had some notes. Paint something. Well, we've been seeing a lot of this one lately. And as I said, haven't gotten much done on it lately with the whole holiday season going on. Head is ready to go in. I've got video of taking that off, but that's for another day. But it was shipped to Lansing, Michigan. Well, that would be the branch warehouse, which was at our, I don't know when Lansing closed. It must have still been open in 67. This one was built October 24th. I think on the certificate they printed up, they said it was shipped on the 25th, but there is nothing on this card that I am seeing that shows that. Oh, wait, right down here in the corner. It's very faint, but yep, shipped the next day to Lansing. So that would have been our branch warehouse, or we swiped it from another dealer up there if that branch warehouse was closed, because later on Columbus was our branch warehouse. But Dad bought this tractor new from our dealership, so that kind of fits with everything. And without reading the codes, I'm pretty sure it's all right, because I know the tractor hasn't changed much over the years. And it will get better soon. We will do whatever it takes to get it running. Family tractor. I'm sure you've probably heard the story on that one a couple times now. The 1900A series. They were only available in diesel with the 4-cylinder 453 Detroit diesel. Dad and I went out to Iowa. Collector Lyle Dumont had an auction to thin out his collection, and this was one of them on there, and Dad really liked the looks of it. So we went out and were able to win it at the auction. Lyle said he found it out in Montana, which that's kind of neat to get this build card, because it shows, not sure you can read it, well you can read it, but it says it was shipped to Billings, Montana. So that just confirms that. It's always neat to know, and there's no reason for Lyle to lie, but who knows where it started before it got to Montana. But it is a Montana tractor, so we're probably the third owners. I don't know for sure. Yeah, I would say I haven't read all the codes yet, but all the serial number, let's see, that one was built October 14th of 1960 and shipped on the 19th. Usually when there's that short a time between them, they were probably ordered. They were ones to go in the yard. There's usually a lot more time between the time they were built and the time they actually got shipped. They always built some on speculation that eventually, they'd fill these orders, and while they were building them, it was more efficient to build a bunch than to build one or two here or there. So that one's a fairly early one, being a 60. That would have been right about the time White was finalizing the deal buying Oliver. So some people say these aren't a true Oliver. And to me, that is wrong, because they were producing these tractors before the deal with White was even finalized. All the engineering was done by Oliver engineers, tooling, all that stuff. So it's an Oliver tractor. The little 440. Dad bought this from Ollie Schaefer. Ollie did some engine work on it, and I guess I never did hear where it came from. But now, thanks to the build card, I can tell it was originally shipped to Richmond, Virginia, which looks like they had a branch warehouse there. So it was somewhere in that area. Built July 9th of 62, shipped on the 10th. So once again, probably an ordered tractor for that quick of a turnaround. There weren't too many shipped to Michigan, so I really wasn't expecting that to be a local tractor, especially since we bought it from someone out of state to start with. Next is the 660. I already have the build card for the 550. I'm trying to remember what that says, but I'm just doing the ones I got for Christmas here. And it shows it was shipped to Battle Creek, Michigan, which should be, on our club. He's been passed away for a few years now. John Manby. He had the Oliver dealership in Battle Creek on Helmer Road. So chances are that's where this came from. So I think that's kind of neat, since I knew him through the tractor club. I think Dad found it up somewhere near St. John's, Michigan, so somewhere close to an hour north of here. And it was the wrong shade of green, but other than that, a good runner. So we cleaned her up good and stripped it down and painted it. We didn't have to do any engine work, transmission work. I think resealed the hydraulic unit. It was a pretty easy restoration. Nice to know it was a Michigan tractor, and from someone I've actually met. I can't remember the name of Manby. It might have been a Manby Oliver Sales. Manby. So next up is the 770. I've told the story of this one before, but we'll tell it again. A customer was going to have an auction, and it sat out for a few years. Motor got tight, brought it in for us to clean up and get running. And Dad made him an offer on it the way it was without tearing into it. And he took it. We bought it. The engine was so crusty inside. Mechanic did a complete tear down, just cleaned everything up, new gaskets, put it to get back together. She runs great now. Gregory, Michigan is where that was shipped to, which is a little east of here, an hour or so. That goes along with where the seller was from. He was kind of somewhat in that area. I'm not sure if he was the original owner on it or not. But it shows Minneapolis, but then up higher it says Columbus. So let's see, built, here's an example. Built August 28th of 64. Well, that's still not too bad with probably Labor Day being in there. Shipped September 4th of 64. So which branch warehouse handled it, I'm not sure. Like I say, Columbus, well, let's see, 64. Well, that's before the 1750 was built. I'll really have to do some looking and see when Lansing closed. Maybe someone more Oliver-y than me knows when the Lansing branch warehouse closed down. But that would be right. Columbus would be right at some point for that being our branch warehouse, and why it said Minneapolis. Maybe it went there first and then it got transferred to fill an order. And the 880, which we've had videos on that. Brought it back from 10 years, 20 some years. Now she's a good runner. I put new tires and tubes on the front, and well, these tubes anymore. But we won't go into that. There are a couple different dealer stickers from Ted's Service in Saline, Michigan. Once again, not too far, probably less than an hour's drive from here. You guys are gonna be able to triangulate exactly where I live. Older one, that still says Ted's. It's hard to read, but it does. And that one's Ted's. So, let's see, this one was built in March 7th of 62 and shipped on the 8th. So another one that didn't wait around very long before it got shipped. Their branch warehouse would have most likely been Columbus as well. I'm sorry, Lansing, depending on when Lansing was closed. So that fits with it probably being, well, it does show Columbus up here. My bet is Ted's probably sold it new. Lansing was the branch warehouse. I will do more looking. And I don't think I've gotten the 990 build card, but I got more for future Christmases. That one is a South Bend, so I think there is a build card for it. They kind of use some on the late ones. I can't remember. It's all, the brain is just too full these days. Okay, the Super 55. I think I've got all the Supers except for the Super 44. It's missing its tag, which I could reverse it out with the engine serial number. That'll probably be on my list someday. And they don't actually have build cards for them, just a build sheet. And same with the Super 99, build sheet on that, but I do have a copy of the build sheet for that one. So I do know, but I don't have a certificate, so I'll probably still order it someday. But the Super 55 shows Parma, Michigan, not too far from here, which goes along. There was another Oliver dealer. They were, I don't know, south of Parma, the way I understand it. And this guy bought this new from them and was plowing one day with it. It had a 59 loader on it. And he hooked a rock and it, I'm sorry, no, yeah, I think he did hook a rock, but we just determined that these earlier ones, the ring gear and the differential was riveted on, and they shortly after this went to bolted on ones because they were having trouble with failing rivets, and that's what happened to this. A rivet head popped out, a rivet worked its way out. Hey Roxy, ruff, ruff, ruff. That's for another one of my YouTube watching dogs. Anyways, it come around, caught the bull gear, stripped teeth out and stuff. And so he parked it in the barn, drug it into a barn, and got a 550. And he came in one time and he was saying how he'd like to get a loader for his 550. And he had this, and so Dad and him worked out a trade, and we'd taken the loader off the 550 over there and put it on, just had it in the barn. We didn't need it anymore. We had a skid steer. Just made the tractor more awkward and stuff for what we were doing with it. And so did some trading, horse trading between a loader and a Super 55 that needed a lot of love. We ended up overhauling it on the engine and totally going through the transmission in order to repair that. So there hasn't been much that hasn't been done on this one. But it is a local tractor built on, oh, this is an early improved one. No, February 12th of 57, shipped the same day even. Wow. Paint probably wasn't even hardly dry, and they're loading it on a truck. I think that stuff's cool. Yeah, this would be an early improved because all Supers that left the factory starting at January 1st had red wheels, but that did not automatically make them improved Super. And to further confuse things, the Oliver model year at that point started on November 1st. So you could have a green-wheeled 1957 Super of any of these models, except for the 44. And then all of a sudden you could have a red-wheeled one that was just the same as the green-wheeled one. Then in February, roughly, they started doing the improvement program where they switched them over to 12-volt key start, tack. Some of the other options were now regular equipment, and the other thing was factory red wheels. And so this one, you can tell very easily by looking at your spec number on your serial tag on any Super. And if the first digit is 1, it is not improved. If the first digit is 2, it is improved. Don't confuse spec number with serial number. There's 2 lines there. So like a Super 55, early ones are 15 dash on their spec. Ones like this that are improved are 25 dash. So cool, that's the build cards I got. Hope everybody enjoyed watching this. Looks like I need to get the air compressor out. The kids are kind of feeling sad, a little lopsided. Here's Ophelia. I've got the build card for her too. She was definitely not a factory purple or pink, depending on who you are, but she's still pretty. Anyways, as I was saying, that sums up the build cards that I got for Christmas. Pretty cool haul. I've still got more that I can put on for future Christmases. Good friend Adam was surprised I didn't have them all already, and well, I just kind of doling them out Christmas after Christmas now. The museum gets their money, I get my build cards, everybody's happy. So thanks again, we'll see you in the next one.